We live? I don't know if we're live yet, man. I don't even know. Oh my god, dude. I've been waiting so long for this. I can see I'm watching my stream, so I'm lagging. But hello everyone. Welcome to the first episode of the All Stains Sports podcast. We're gonna be talking about a lot of stuff uh today mostly talk about some football, talk about some college basketball, see how I think about the rankings and stuff. Maybe talk some NBA. I would think that. Um uh, It feels so weird to see my face on my TV in front of the camera, but let's focus on the pod, all right? Let's focus. Let's try to focus on this pod. Let's start off with the NFL honors recap. Obviously, the NFL honors happened last week, last Thursday. It happened during Champs podcast. I talked about it. Make sure you guys go subscribe to Champs podcast. This podcast is really, really good. I'll actually be on it tomorrow night for round 4. For everyone who's wondering. So there is that. But hopefully will be good. But NFL honors, let's start with offensive defensive rookie of the year. Um CJ Stroud won offensive rookie of the year. Defensive rookie of the year was Will Anderson Jr. I don't disagree with either of these the picks that the committee made. I don't think they really missed much on anything in my opinion. I think that uh I think that CJ Stroud deserved offensive rookie of the year. That was really obvious from the start. I think you could say that offensive rookie of the year, he deserved it. Honestly, if I'm just being honest, uh, because we never expected him to really do good as much as he would, because some we never expected this man to do pretty good. All right, we never expected this man to do pretty good as he did this season. I don't think he wasn't gonna do good this year. We didn't expect him to do good this year, but guess what? He did good this year. He did what none of us expected what he will do, and that was gonna do good this year. But I think that was a perfect choice for offensive rookie of the year, in my opinion. I think it was a great choice. And yeah, that's all I have for the offensive rookie of the year. But defensive rookie of the year, uh, Will Anderson Jr. I can I can understand that. I had Jalen Carter winning it, uh, because I felt like I didn't really see much of Will Anderson Jr. I think neither Jalen Carter, so I didn't really know who to pick off of. Devon Witherspoon was also another contender for that. I think he did really good this season too. He was one of the guys that I think I watched mostly, as a great corner as he was. I'm sad that Christian Gonzalez wasn't up there for defensive rookie of the year. I think he could have been up for it, but hey, man, it is what it is. But I think they were both great decisions. Now we're gonna talk about defensive player of the year. I'm gonna bring up the banner for this. Myles Garrett won this. Why? Now we talked about this last week on PSP's podcast. I'm gonna clip this, by the way. We all talked about this on PSP's podcast last week. We talked about it on PSP podcast last week on how this we talked about this on PSP's podcast last week on how this was kind of controversial. I think it was kind of controversial. There was 3 more players that deserved more than Myles Garrett, and those 3 players were Micah Parsons, T.J. Watt, Max Crosby. Max Crosby should have been the one, but I picked Micah Parsons in my opinion. And obviously, this is not the sack leader award. That's obviously the Deacon Jones award. I think we all know how that works and how that goes. But you got to understand that everybody talks about how, like, whenever you look at the stats, oh, it might look that bad, but you need to understand how he got any of those sacks. You need to go understand of how he got any of those tackles. I don't think any of us need to look at the tape whenever you're looking at the stats of it and seeing that of how he won it when there's 3 other people that deserve it over him. Like that just makes me, yeah, like just know that. But moving on to Offensive Player of the Year, I thought it was a great choice, in my opinion. I thought it was really. Something happened to my stream. I think I'm good. I think I'm good now. I'm lagging bad. Yeah, but for Offensive Player of the Year, CMC won it. I'm not surprised that CMC won it. Um, I I'm not really surprised that CMC won it. Bro, I'm lagging on and off. Yeah, I'm turning off my Xbox. I think that's what's making me lag. But in my opinion, I think CMC deserved this one. He really did deserve this one. Honestly, CMC, incredible running back, by the way. Did great in the Super Bowl. We're gonna talk about that later. Also with the Mahomes Brady debate. I think if you just look at how CMC did during the season, you can automatically tell that he deserved this. I think he deserved it, in my opinion. I really think he did deserve it. It's just you look on how he deserved it. I can't get around to it. I'm just gonna say that I think CMC did deserve it, but maybe a little bit of up and downs. But we kind of already knew that CMC was already gonna get this award, so there's that in the first place. Moving on to Comeback Player of the Year. Comeback Player of the Year. There's a reason why this award is called Comeback Player of the Year. In my opinion, I think Flacco deserved it. Now there was so much controversy about this award. I mean, why? Just why put controversy around it whenever we already knew who deserved it more than anybody else? You can tell who already deserved it. There's no question about it. People who say that Flacco didn't deserve that, really? Flacco didn't deserve the award? Flacco didn't deserve the award. Damar Hamlin deserved it? No. All right, I'm clipping this part too. Damar Hamlin did not deserve that award at all. We need to just get that straight cleared. Damar Hamlin did not deserve that award at all. People say he came back for the dead. Yeah. What's the reason though? Is that the only reason that you're going to point out? Is that the only reason that you're going to put out? That exactly. Damar Hamlin did not deserve that award. Flacco deserved it more than anybody else. You can completely understand that. Flacco deserved it more than anybody else would. I think all of us can give the understatement of that. And you saying, "Oh, he doesn't deserve the award," bro? This man's a quarterback that we didn't even expect him to do good this year. Didn't even expect him to start. Deshaun Watson, remember that he was starting. Deshaun Watson was the one that's first one. He was the starter. And then we had DTR. He got injured. Who did they go to for their first string? Joe Flacco. And he carried the team the rest of the way. I don't care what you say. Myles Garrett did not carry that team. He helped the team, but he didn't carry it. I think that Joe Flacco helped that entire team throughout the whole entire season. Throughout the whole entire season that he started. He was the GOAT of that team. It doesn't really matter. I don't care what you tell me. He is the GOAT of that team. Moving on. MVP. Moving to MVP. MVP, bro. MVP. My MVP. My MVP. I did talk about this last week. I talked about this last week to just explain of how this happened. PSP clipped me of saying it. He deserved this. How he got it? How did he get it exactly? All of you are wondering, how does Lamar Jackson get MVP? It all started whenever we beat the Lions. And then after that, it actually started whenever we beat the 49ers. That's it. And then from there, you already know he was going to win it. It was decided earlier in the season. Whenever we beat Detroit, this man was going to be future MVP. His real test to be MVP was during the San Francisco. I'm sorry if I lag. I'm very sorry. But he proved himself during the San Francisco game. Whenever that happened. He proved himself. You can't tell me otherwise. It's as simple as that. Moving on to Coach. Sorry for that. I got disconnected. Like literally. But as I was saying, as we were going to move on, Coach of the Year went to Shane Steichen, I think. That's right. No, Kevin Stefanski. Huh? I mean, this was kind of deserved, But there's also other coaches on the table. You have Harbaugh, you have Campbell, you have DeMeco Ryans. I think all those people were the top. Those top three people were the people that deserved it, not Shane Steichen and not Kevin Stefanski. DeMeco Ryans, John Harbaugh, Dan Campbell. Those were the three people that deserved it. I think we can all say that. You can make the case of saying that this team, that Dan Campbell didn't help the Detroit Lions. He did. John Harbaugh, did he help the Ravens? Yes. He helped a major part of it. But DeMeco Ryans also helped. DeMeco Ryans helped a little. I think Dan Campbell should have won this one, but obviously I was biased and went for my guy John Harbaugh. And guess where that went? Nowhere. It went to the Browns head coach. I mean, it just makes no sense of how you give it to the Browns head coach when there's other head coaches that deserve it, in my opinion. I think there's 3 other coaches that deserved it, and it was those 3 coaches that I listed out that deserved it. But it is what it is. Super Bowl recap. I didn't want to talk about this. I don't like talking. I don't want to talk about this, but it has to be noticed. It has to be said, and it has to be put on notice somehow. The Super Bowl was a great game in the second half, I would say. If you look at how the game went, throughout the first half sucked. We can all say that for ourselves. The Niners, they absolutely fucking sucked through the first half and at least got a touchdown. But you scoring 3 points, tying it up 3-3, then ending the first half off on a McCaffrey touchdown, which was weird. Purdy passed to Juwan Jennings. Jennings threw to McCaffrey. McCaffrey found a wide open gap and ran, I think it was 22 yards into the end zone for a touchdown. That play was good. I like that play. That play was a nice play by the Niners. But the second half, we all know what happened there. They had it in the grasp of their hands. Kyle Shanahan putting his balls on the table. This man putting everything that he has on the table, going all in. And he went all in for nothing. He always chokes it away. You always choke it away. And some people can make the case of what happened in overtime. Because obviously Shanahan didn't understand the rules. People were saying he did. I think he did. He just went for the field goal. That was the smart decision to do. But thinking that you were going to get the ball back against the Chiefs offense is just stupid, kind of. So I see how him making that decision of returning it or kidding it, receiving it, is very, very stupid. But you still have to look at the upside of things. If they made a stop and held them up 0-4, they would have won the game right then and there. It wouldn't have mattered for the Chiefs to try to get a touchdown or try to get a field goal. If they didn't make it past 4 downs, they were going to lose the game. It doesn't matter. You can put that to rest, and you can say bye-bye to that. Now, looking at the Chiefs side of things, they did not do good during the first half either. Both teams didn't do good during the first half. Second half is when they came into it. The Chiefs, they stepped up at halftime. They stepped up. Third quarter, I don't know. Fourth quarter is when they started to step up, made the tie of the game. And then overtime, they obviously took over after Shanahan decided to do that field goal. And obviously, some fans weren't going to be as happy about it. I think a lot of fans weren't going to be as happy about it, especially 49er fans. I know Niners fans weren't going to be happy. No one on the Niners side was going to be happy about losing in the Super Bowl, obviously. But honestly, it is what it is. What happened is what happened. And I have a clip here from my man Broad Sports that said a little something on Brandon's podcast. Here you go.
You know, I'll just go say it because I don't care. Debo, this is karma for running your mouth the entire season about the Philadelphia Eagles. You were so obsessed with us the entire season. You just kept running your mouth non-stop. And where were you? Where were you in the Super Bowl? You did pull your Super Bowl. Where were you? Non-existent. Non-existent. Wait, Brian, you forgot about George Kittle today. Like, I've been hearing interviews. Everyone's like, George Kittle. He's like, oh, yeah, I'm ready to go up. Show how big I am on this team. How I can lead this team to a championship. 2 receptions. 4 yards. 2 receptions for 4 yards. You know, just go say.
So basically, what he said is that Debo, George Kittle got karma. All that shit. Here's some other people's takes from the Super Bowl.
I have a take about Patrick Mahomes. I think he's the Michael Jordan of the NFL. I think he's the Michael Jordan of the NFL. The way he's dominating in such a short amount of time, like, I've never seen it before. Never seen it before in my life. Do I have him as GOAT? No, not yet. I think a couple more years, like, we make that argument because I still think Brady's peak is better than Mahomes, but that's just me. Like, I think Mahomes is the 4th greatest peak ever. That's why I'm not ready to say that he's in the conversation with Brady. But I will say this. I think he's the best prime from any quarterback ever. And I think that will solidify his argument over Brady because if he's this good at 28, like, he's had the best, like, 7 years for a career ever. I have a take about...
That was Kieran's take on Mahomes maybe being the greatest quarterback ever. I mean, you just look at the facts of it. We could start talking about this debate. Now, people are just saying it because they won back-to-back Super Bowls. I'm going to just disagree with all of you. Anybody that is saying that Mahomes' dynasty is better than Brady's, obviously, we could say maybe yes to that. But the thing that we can say instantly no to is Brady not being better than Mahomes. Anything or anybody that says Mahomes is better than Brady in anything, at least in the NFL, I am calling you insane. I am calling you crazy. You cannot make this man better than Brady because he's won back-to-back Super Bowls. New England has already done that. Brady has already done that. But obviously, Mahomes is doing it way younger than he's supposed to. Nobody expected Mahomes to play like this back in 2018, 2019, whenever he won his first NFL MVP. He's been a 3-time Super Bowl MVP. Maybe if... Now, here's the case for this. How he can become over the GOAT. Right now, he is top 3. He is at number 3. He is... Brady is right now. Montana is number 2. Number 1 is Brady. Can he still pass Montana? Probably. But if I just go from how I've watched stuff and not go from all time, right now Mahomes is at 2. His dynasty that he's building is obviously being incredible. The Chiefs dynasty, it's been insane. It's been incredible of how they've been able to do back-to-back Super Bowls, win 3 Super Bowls in the last few years, winning it against San Francisco earlier whenever it was the Miami Super Bowl, and then beating the Eagles last year, and then beating the 49ers this year, which they did that 2-0. But first, we need to look at the stats of how these two quarterbacks go up against each other. Mahomes is outplayed in every single stat by Brady. Brady has outplayed him in every single stat because of how many years he's played in the NFL. Obviously, he's not over Brady yet. And I'm going to say this is the make or break for him. And it is, whenever he gets 8 Super Bowl rings, then come and talk to me. He needs to get 8 Super Bowl rings for this man to even be in a GOAT conversation. If he reaches 7 Super Bowl rings, he is turning into Brady very quickly. Or if you wanted to take the quick way out is if he wins the Super Bowl next year. Then that gets me into the whole entire GOAT conversation. And if he does win it that next year and becomes Super Bowl MVP, I am officially probably going to put him over Brady. Because Brady's never done that in his career, and I don't think he will ever do it, as he's already retired. But if you just look at right now and how Brady's been doing, you cannot tell me that Brady is not better than Mahomes. I'm just gonna tell you, I'm calling you crazy. I'm calling you everything that is that way. Brady is better than Mahomes. He has been for years, and he will stay that way until Mahomes proves it to every single person. Of course, you could start the conversation of it, but you cannot put him as the greatest of all time. You can't. There's just no impossible way that you do that. Anybody that puts him in a GOAT conversation and starts putting him into being the best player in the NFL, I'm calling you crazy. I'm just saying. But anyways, we're gonna look at the NBA because this is All Things Sports Podcast. We talk about all the things that are sports on this pod. So the NBA, is it time? Is it finally time to take the Clippers seriously? Now, no one expected the Clippers to be as good as they are right now. Obviously, no one expected them to be as good as they are right now. And if anybody expected it, I would call you crazy instantly. The Clippers have not been good for I don't know how many years. They made it into the playoffs last year, but they got knocked out of them. They got knocked out, I'm pretty sure. Way early in the playoffs. I'm also pretty sure of that also. They were knocked out by the Suns. But I think the thing that is making the Clippers great right now is you have the trio. Kawhi, Paul George, James Harden. Leave Russell Westbrook out of the equation. Now, I can tell you that Russell Westbrook is an incredible player, but if you just look at him right now, he has bricked so many shots. He's missed so many shots. You cannot call him an incredible player. That man is an on and off player that does either good on one game and does bad the other. 10 games. You can't tell me that Russell Westbrook I said his name wrong. Russell Westbrook is going to keep going out there even though every time he bricks shots. Every single time. Every single time. He bricks shots a lot. He bricks shots a lot. And people can tell me that Russell Westbrook is an incredible player. Okay, you can't do that. But look at it from one person, looking at it from another person to another. Looking at it to another thing or another, we know that Russell Westbrook is not good. We know that he's not good. He ain't going to be, and he never going to. He ain't going to be for a while now. But looking at the trio, Leonard, George, Harden. Harden has not been good for years, except now. This is when he's starting to get good. This trio, I don't know how many points they put up per game. Let me just look for a second here. Give me a sec. Okay, here we go. Points per game that this team puts up. Kawhi Leonard puts up 24.1 points. Paul George puts up 22.4, and James Harden puts up 17.3. Obviously, that's not that great. But if you look at it, look at how much. Oh, okay, I'll let you all. Look how much these people are doing. Look at it. How are you going to tell me that this team is not doing good whenever Russell Westbrook has 11.3 points? But look at how much these three have. 24.1, 22.4, 17.3. Add these up, please. 46, 10's 56, and then if you add 7 to it, it's 63. He has 63 points in total. That whole entire trio does. That's how you know that team, that whole entire Clippers team is really good. It's time to take the Clippers seriously. I think it's time to take them seriously. Harden, George, Leonard are an unstoppable trio. You cannot stop them. You can't stop them at all. And I don't think you will. Nobody will. But, moving on. I'm hoping. I was wanting to get a person on here for this. But I'm actually going to see if we could try to get him on here for this. Because I do want to talk to him about it, see what he's doing about it, and what he thinks about it. Obviously, this won't be clipped, but just looking at the top 25 rankings, obviously, give me a second. I'm gonna call someone, see if they want to talk about it. But the podcast, we're gonna talk about some of the teams right now, college basketball. Let's talk about UNC. Obviously, UNC is an incredible team. Some people love UNC. I know a person who does. Brandon from the block. Go subscribe to his podcast. He does a throwdown every Monday. And next week, he's actually going to be doing his Wednesday basketball podcast. So make sure you guys tune in for that, for the NBA and basketball, college basketball stuff. I will tell you this. March Madness is going to be insane. I'm just telling you all that. Okay, I'll be right. Sorry if I stand up a lot, all right? Because I might stand up from time to time because I just need to. But looking at UNC is a great team. We can all say that, especially with their 19-6 overall record. If you look at how much they are at home, they've won 10-1 at home, but 6-2 away. You can tell that they are way better at home than they are away. And right now they are on a losing streak. They've been on a losing streak ever since. Guess when? Guess when they've been on how long they've been on a losing streak for? They've been on a losing streak ever since they won against Duke. They've been on a losing streak ever since they won against Duke. And this is including the Syracuse game, and it's including a lot of games. UNC has been a really, really good team, especially for March Madness. You can look at them. They are going to be a March Madness team. There's no way that they aren't. And Duke is too. Duke is going to become a March Madness team. I mean, you just look at the stats of some players. Jared McCain, Kyle Flipowski, Tyrese Proctor, Jeremy Roach, and Mark Mitchell. Those 5 players that I just listed out right there are incredible. They're the ones that helped this team. Mostly all those ones. Now there are other players that help the team too. Duke has just those 5 main players are probably the best players on the team. They get a lot of points per game. Duke is a course right now in the rankings having a little bit of a great game. They are at 3 wins. If they get a win, they go up in the rankings probably. Going over people. UConn obviously being first. Last year they were in they were in March Madness and they went all the way to the finals. Purdue. They're doing way better than probably people expected them to. But you just have to see how they do in March Madness to see how they really do against actual teams. Houston, don't know much because I don't watch a lot of college basketball. I'm just trying to do it to fill up time. Marquette, great team. I watched them for a little bit whenever they faced. Oh, man, I can't remember who they faced. I think it was. Oh, who was it? Oh, man, they might be on the top 25, I think, too. I don't think they are. I think it was Marquette versus Croquet. Or Croquet or Croquette or something. Marquette versus... Oh, Marquette versus Creighton. That's the game I was talking about. I watched that game. Marquette, Creighton did both an incredible job during that game. Arizona, don't know much. Kansas, don't know much. Tennessee, Duke, doing incredible right now. Go Blue Devils. Iowa State, don't know. And then the rest of the teams, yeah, you can't really look as much as them, except the teams that aren't ranked. that beat the ranked teams is going to be an incredible upset. That's all I can say. But I think the rankings look good as they are right now. Just put Duke a little bit up. Now, I finally get to talk about what I love to do. Last part of the show that we're doing tonight. And then I will see you guys next Tuesday for the next episode of this. Next Tuesday. This when you guys come up. But it'll be happening at 6 p.m. CST, 7 p.m. EST, obviously. But, continuing on with wrestling. The road to WrestleMania starts now. I'm going to make this exclusively green for this. I'm going to make this exclusively dark green. A little bit of light. There we go. That's the kind of green I want to see. Kind of like Kelly Green. The road to WrestleMania starts now. We're here to talk about the Cody Rhodes story. Obviously, people wanted to see this match happen. They wanted to see Roman versus Cody happen again. Because last time he got fucked by Solo Sikoa. And I hated that last year. That's when I actually did the fucking acknowledging thing. But it's now this. Because I hate Roman Reigns. I know he's supposed to be a heel that you're supposed to hate. But I just really hate him right now. And it's because, obviously it's because he's a heel. It's going to be like that until he does not turn heel. I can't wait for April. Once it turns April, all hell breaks loose. Because WrestleMania happens. Once Cody wins that title, the internet is going to blow. It does not matter. We'll probably see Rock during the match. But as Seth said on Monday night, he is going to be Cody's Shield. And then he talks about the story of the story of how he made Roman Reigns the guy who he is, because of what happened 12 years ago, putting a chair to his back whenever he was being the Shield. Hi, Yellow. But obviously, seeing the story that it is right now, I think that they're doing the right thing right now. The Rock, Cody, Roman shit, and the Seth story. They just need to find out who Seth is facing. Once Drew I'm betting he's facing Drew McIntyre at WrestleMania. I bet he's facing McIntyre at WrestleMania because he would be a perfect person to face. It would be a perfect heel to face. Obviously, he's been wanting to fight Rollins for some time now. I think it'd be probably the good match for them to have at WrestleMania. Probably be a really good match. Or you go down the Gunther route. Put both titles on the line, the IC title and the World Heavyweight Championship title. Put them both on the line, see how they do. But obviously, Gunther's not in the chamber. And the person who's going to be going for that is Jey Uso. I think that's going to be an interesting storyline. I think it's going to be a great thing that happens if he loses. Obviously, that's bad, but is it though? Is it Jey Uso beating Gunther for the IC title? That wouldn't be bad at all, I think. Look at how good that story would be. Just be incredible of seeing of how a guy that is not really good goes into being a really good star on them. Obviously. He's going to be incredible. And I think he can win the IC title and beat Gunther. Obviously, there's not been anybody that's been able to beat him because obviously he's been beating a lot of days and He might even pass Roman Reigns' reign of him being the Universal Championship, but I don't think it doesn't happen. We need Rollins versus Reigns in the Elimination Chamber. I don't think you need it. I don't think you do. We've already seen it during Rumble, and it was, I mean, it'd be a perfect match, but I don't think you really need it, though. I don't think you need it. But I think seeing that match will be incredible. Other matches will be decided. Bianca Belair, I think, is going to face Rhea for the championship. It's either that or Becky Lynch. Not this year's Rumble. But not this year's Rumble. I'm talking about like a Rumble a few years ago, whenever he did the Shield entrance and all that shit. I don't know if you remember that. But seeing how the road of WrestleMania is going to go is going to be really, really interesting. Chamber too early. Yeah. But seeing how the road of WrestleMania is going to go is going to be really, really interesting. There's nothing really much for me to talk about. The Chamber's really early because it's it's 3 a.m. It's when it starts. 3 a.m. is when the Chamber starts, which is fucking ridiculous. But hey, it is what it is. It is what it is. And it's because it's in Australia. That's the only reason why. But probably. I'd probably stream it too, but I can't be loud at all. But I think that's it for our pod tonight. Unless you guys want to talk about anything else that I haven't already talked about. Yellow. It's on the 24th. If you want to know what we talked about the NFL honors recap. We talked about the Super Bowl and the Mahomes being better than Brady Dynasty debate. Fucking shit. And then we had obviously, is it time to take the Clippers seriously thing. Then we talked about college basketball. Go stream on Twitch. I will stream that on Twitch, obviously. I'll stream it. It's on a Saturday, by the way. Brady is better. But you guys will see clips for that on probably tomorrow. I'll probably work on them tonight and work on them getting out tonight. But yeah, I think I'm done streaming makes. But we don't have a panel here to shout out, so I'll just shout out myself. Make sure you guys follow my socials down here. Follow my Twitch. Yeah, imagine. Follow my Twitch, follow my Twitter, follow my Instagram, follow my TikTok. All of them are really good. Obviously, you guys subscribe to me on YouTube. If you haven't, subscribe, please. I'll clip that. Yeah, probably be a good clip. But also make sure to follow Sports PSP as always. Follow Champ tomorrow night. We will be live on YouTube for his pod. It will be at, I'm pretty sure it's either 6 p.m. Central or 7 p.m. Central, which is 7 p.m. Eastern time if it's 6 p.m. and then 8 p.m. if it's at 7. But I'm pretty sure it's at 6 o'clock. It's either that or 7. I don't know. I'll have to ask Champ about it. But stream Madden tonight. I don't know if I'll be able to do that. I might, but probably not. I'm literally getting done with a podcast right now. I'm obviously not putting this on YouTube, but not YouTube. Fucking Spotify. But yeah. Hopefully you guys enjoyed the pod. I will be back Tuesday. Because that's what our normal schedule is going to be. We're going to be starting the live stream at 6 p.m. Central, 7 p.m. Eastern. We had to do this alone tonight You have to start from somewhere, though, right? You have to start from somewhere. But make sure you guys tune in next Tuesday, 6 p.m. Central, 7 p.m. Eastern. I love you all. I will see you guys in the next stream on Tuesday. And we are out. Peace. See you guys on tomorrow if you guys show up the Champs podcast. Yeah, I can try to bring Mike on. You guys will just have to convince him of trying to see if you could get him onto the pod. But yeah, we'll talk about probably like free agency and stuff next week for the second episode of the podcast. But I love you all. I will see you guys for the second episode of the All Things Sports Podcast. You've been watching the All Things Sports Podcast. Follow my socials, Aiden Coleman. Love you all. I'll see you guys Tuesday at 6 p.m. Central, 7 p.m. Eastern. Or else I will just see you guys on Thursday on Champs Podcast or Friday on Sports BSP Podcast. I love you all. Bye.